Hi, I'm Lucy James and I'm co-founder at Quash. This video series focuses on retention, which is on everyone's minds at the moment. So far, we've looked at what's influencing retention with 9 levers that you can use to improve your ability to retain the people you want. We've looked at the first two, culture and management, and now we're going to explore motivation and engagement. We know that people perform at their best and stay for longer when they're motivated, engaged, and supported by their employer. So, questions to ask. Are your people motivated and engaged? What will make them more so? As with so much when we're looking at the subject of retention, the first thing we need to do is gather data. This is easiest with a survey, typically delivered via email and completed online. Your questions will be determined by what's important to you and should cover both qualitative and quantitative responses. This will give you comparative data across your company so you can see how different departments are performing, as well as trends on what your employees are actually saying. You can then identify key motivators and demotivators and develop programs to maintain and improve motivation. It's really important to carry out this kind of survey when you're prepared to listen to what is being said. It could be argued that it's worse to run a survey and then do nothing than never to run it at all. If you'd like to compare your own business against others, there are 2 great tools, Gallup and the Utrecht Work Engagement Scale. A clever academic at Aston Business School wrote a really good paper comparing these and others, which is well worth a read. A quick Google search will reveal all. I particularly like the Utrecht Work Engagement Scale as it measures positivity and the opposite of burnout, which really pleases me. These are vigour, dedication and absorption, and there are 18 standard questions. This sort of thing in and of itself is a good reminder, maybe to run every 6 months or so, but is no substitute for a really thorough root and branch culture and engagement survey. We can help with that if you'd like to talk about it. A model I like to use when thinking about motivation is this one. This is Herzberg's theory of motivation. Here you can see that job dissatisfaction and job satisfaction are 2 very different things. Job dissatisfaction typically refers to what we'd call hygiene factors, such as working conditions, policy and salary. Improving these factors generally reduces job dissatisfaction, but research shows that once a baseline is reached, any increase has a limited and quite short-term impact. As an example, let's look at salary. A pay rise in September is forgotten about by January. On the other hand, increasing motivator factors has a positive impact on job satisfaction. This includes factors such as intrinsic motivation. Is the job interesting? Is it challenging? As well as career advancement and personal growth. So to recap briefly, improving hygiene factors reduces dissatisfaction, whereas improving motivator factors increases job satisfaction. When looking at retention, improving motivator factors has a much deeper and much longer term impact. It's interesting that these motivator factors also fall into the category of pull factors when people are looking at considering a new job. They are, as I talked about in the first of this video series, less tangible, more ephemeral, and completely subjective. They're also the things that will tempt people away to take on a new role. People join companies for opportunities and leave for specifics. While doing the research for this video series, I found a really interesting article which looked at how to identify whether a team is motivated by watching behaviours and attitudes to work. Motivated people tend to smile a lot. That's obvious. Other indicators include people volunteering for challenging work, keeping their workplace tidy, being happy to stay on after hours to finish a task or please a customer. They're also unafraid to give constructive feedback and challenge business as usual practices. So keep an ear open for positive behaviours. Celebrate, recognise and reward people who are clearly motivated. And watch out for the corollary too, as there's nothing more demotivating to a great performer than seeing others coasting. So collecting data falls into 2 categories, what we observe and what we ask, and whether we listen. Once you've got the data you need, it's time to examine it and ask some what can be quite tough questions. The point of this exercise is not to find guilty parties and punish them unless that's truly the culture you want. It's more to find out how we can encourage our people to give their best performances, which will in turn contribute to our ability to retain great people. So here's a quick summary of what to do. Identify your top motivators, define relevant programs, include reward and recognition so people can see that you value them, and then communicate. Keep the cycle going for continuous improvement and long-term gains. Time for a recap. Motivation and engagement is all about finding the factors that will encourage good people to stay for longer so that you both you and your employees benefit. First, find out what your people need now, then differentiate those hygiene and motivator factors. Remember Herzberg's theory of motivation. Try to link intrinsic motivators and extrinsic motivators, finding ways you can support those factors that drive people in and of themselves. And finally, be visible with your actions and your intent so that your people can see and feel that they're in safe hands. So that's motivation and engagement, which is the third of our 9 levers of retention. If you want to explore this in more detail, do please get in touch. I'm Lucy James, co-founder at Quash, the Complete Recruitment and Retention Department. Thank you for watching and see you next time.